All right, welcome in. Hanna Time, Thursday night. JJ Grub Shack here in East Mesa, Arizona. We're going to have another big show for you. Lots of baseball, lots of football. Jam-packed. We got special guests again on a Thursday night like we do. And it's packed here. We got Buccaneers and Ravens. Good matchup tonight. Good game so far. We're watching that all over this house here at JJ Grub Shack. And if you want to come on down and join me, it'd be great. I'm always here on Thursdays and Sundays watching football. All right, let's give you a 30-second countdown, get you back into the show, get your thoughts together about baseball, World Series, and Week 8 in the NFL. All right, welcome in. Hanna Time, Thursday night. Cornelius Brad Hanna, your host, like we always do here at JJ Grub Shack here in East Mesa, Arizona. And jam-packed house watching some Thursday night football. We got a lot of talk about baseball, World Series. Got a lot of stories about spin rate with the pitchers in baseball. You know, I don't know if you heard the story or not. If you're the average fan, I'm sure you do. But, pitchers were, scrutinized about doctoring the ball, maybe getting too much of a spin rate. For breaking balls, sharper, tighter pitches thrown, and made it a lot difficult for hitters to hit the ball. Well, things changed. Major League Baseball got involved with that, and we saw a change in pitchers, and they were getting hit. And then a couple of months later, things got tighter again. And now there's a report, and I've always felt this way, that the spin rate is back, and it's been back even bigger and crazier in the postseason. And we'll break it down for you why Major League Baseball either is ignoring it, or maybe they just cannot figure out what's really going on. There's a lot of, two sides of the story we can break it down to. I'm going to dig into that. So I want you to really hear this out as you're in the midst of the greatest part of baseball, the World Series, Phillies and the Houston Astros. So pick your team too, by the way, if you want it. But we're going to talk NFL. Week 8. I got John Turner coming in, my great football insider himself. I got Mancini coming in at 7:15 for Hanna Mancini. And I'm waiting for Kip Gross, former Major League Baseball player, to talk about baseball stuff too. If he doesn't make it, we're just going to keep rolling along here on a Thursday night. And let's pop in first and foremost this baseball story, and then we'll get into all the football. We'll catch you up and keep you updated on the 10-3 score. The Buccaneers looking better, looking good. The Bucs offense really moved the ball in the first 2 possessions. All that nonsense about Brady, it's a long football season, and maybe the Buccaneers, this may be their game if they can continue to show what they're doing on defense and offense, as they're really stifling and suffocating the Ravens, who have been very inconsistent for the most part of the year so far after 7 games of football. But the Bucs are below 500. They're 3-4. So we'll talk about that also, and the rest of the game and all the rest of these wild, great NFL stories too. But I got a lot of baseball I want to share with you. A lot of, conspiracy stuff too. I mean, it's just crazy. I love it though. All right. Just checking the score before I pop into baseball, but everything looks pretty good. All right, let's move along here. Thank you for coming in, and appreciate your time with me too, as I try to inform you as much as I can, educate you as you educate me. All right, Hanna Time is on the roll here, and let's, I want to pop this in right here, and I want to say this to you right now. Right, this is a great quote. Baseball is a thinking man's game. It's not a calculus thought. It's a living thing to me, right? I've explained myself to all about this before. If you just keep your head in the metrics, that's what you're going to get. The task feeling, okay? What that really is saying there, baseball has gotten so much into the metrics, the technology stuff, that it's taking away the feel of the game. In a lot of sports too, by the way. In baseball, we really see it. And when you take the feel of the game, the natural instinct of the game, you lose something. And baseball has been struggling to recapture some of the old glory days where it was just play ball. Now there's way too much thinking going on, too much analytics, and they're not. Has analytics truly benefited teams where the feel of the game doesn't matter anymore? Where does the feel of the game get back into sports? At what point does a coach or somebody say, get rid of that tablet? Let's get rid of this stuff. Let's play some ball. Now, there is some benefits to do your homework, be prepared, right? Know your opponent, know what you're going to throw to these batters and, or this pitcher and things, matchups and stuff like that. But when you overdo it, when you overthink and you just trust the Harvard geek who just never played a game in his life, but these numbers match up. But the true instincts of a ball player, the true instincts of an athlete, the feel of the game, the energy of the game. Analytics does not take care of what? Pressure. The moment. They bring it in and they show like what is pressure moment. You can't decide that's the only way that you can feel like, well, this guy is good under pressure. BS. When a ball player or an athlete is in the moment, we don't know how they're handling it. We don't know if they're over exaggerating themselves on the field, not too overhyped or too cool, too nervous, not focused. But you're going to trust the analytics on it. Overall, it's destroying sports and it's destroying baseball. You're going to watch a lot of it. You're going to watch a lot of it in the World Series. But I believe more and more people are tired of it. There's more complaints about the analytics when it comes to baseball. And we're going to watch the World Series, and we hope it's a great one. The Fall Classic has to be a classic. We want to see it, right? I do. I definitely do. All right. Now, and a lot of this stuff, too, in baseball, and if you're a baseball lover, great. If you're a baseball average fan, great. If you just really don't follow the sport, just follow along, enjoy, listen. I got a lot to read to you. Something that I got this part out of the Athletic, the article out of the Athletic, and a lot of it from me that I wrote down too. And I want to share this with you. And I want to go through some quotes about what's called the spin rate. Okay. And I was hoping to see Kip Gross come in here if he can pop in. He's supposed to come in around 6:15, and if I'll be in the middle of this, then that'll be great timing. He's a former Major League Baseball player, 16 years in the Major League. So hey, we definitely want a guy like this to talk about spin rate and everything else too. All right, let's get into it. All right, spin rate. Some references from an article in the Athletic, and also from yours truly, and some quotes too. All right, spin rate is back up. It's back up, meaning they try to get away with it. I mean, they try to get away with the pitchers. They finally got caught, or at least they captured something when now they check every pitcher's glove before or after every inning to make sure there's no substance there to get a better grip. They get something on their fingers to be able to spin the ball. So when it comes off the fingers, they can snap it more, right? And they have more rotation on it so the ball can curve and slide and do all the dancing that it does as it approaches the batter. The spin rate has been way high, right? Incredible. Then it disappeared and pitchers struggled. Some did okay. Then we started seeing more and more numbers going down in baseball. We saw what? Averages are like around 230 as an average. We saw batters and hitters still playing every day at 180, 190 batting average. That's embarrassing. You shouldn't even be in the major leagues, right? But something was shifting. People blamed it on the infield shift and all these other. No. I mean, part of that can be possible. But there was that spin rate. Is it illegal? It's supposed to be because they're checking the gloves. But why is the spin rate way up again? It's back. And they're still checking. But are they checking for show, or are they really checking the pitcher's gloves? A conspiracy, good food for thought. You can all throw it out there if you want to, but I'll get more for you here. The thinking is clear though. The sticky stuff leads to the biggest increase in spin rate, okay, which in turn leads to the most dramatic increases in stuff like check of the hand should keep anyone from using the substance that they can't get off their fingers or hands quickly, right? So it's called the spider tack, okay? It's like pine tar in a certain way, right? Or using pine tar for the batter, right? Batters can use pine tar, pitchers can't use anything like that. That's the rule, right? Which was developed to help, strong grip, anything. All right. The world's strongest man competitions use it to get and grab and lift, right? All this sticky stuff. So pitchers like to use it. Okay. And the game of baseball is all about getting away what you can, right? Most sports. Okay. But they really try to get rid of all this sticky stuff for pitchers. And they're checking. Okay. You saw a lot of it over the past year. And it makes sense. But it looks like pitchers have found something, though. Something clear, something wipeable that gives them more of a boost than a sunscreen or rosin bag, because spin rate is back up in baseball, all right, to where it was before the enforcement that started all this stuff. The highest and the lowest points in league average spin rate is the spin rate tracking era are both on this graph. I'll read it to you. Okay. So it's not a trick, of a y-axis and things like that. It took a huge drop after the enforcement, and then it started to creep back up. The spin rate, pitchers, okay? In the past levels, almost immediately adjusting for velocity, because velocity and spin are interrelated, creates the same graph, okay? So you see a pitch coming, it looks like a fastball, but the spin's tighter and the ball moves. It gets more moving on the fastball. Okay, this is a real effect, though. And the pitchers had a huge advantage, and it looks like it's back. It's really obvious, though. It says one hitting coach. This is a hitting coach in the major leagues. He says when they rattled off examples of pitchers who had to come to town recently and use some sort of substance, but pitchers aren't back to the extreme days of the spider track. You have to go through like 50 seasons, 51 pitcher seasons before you can get to this year's highest four-seam spin rate. I know it's a little technical and a little high there, but bear with this, okay? And then another 123 pitcher season before you can get this year's second highest spin rate. The very top spin rates have been eliminated, but the pitchers seem to find something that is almost as good, okay? So they're saying that the spin rate is not quite where it was before, but there is something there, because batting coaches and other coaches and GMs around Major League Baseball are witnessing this, and they see it. But what is Major League Baseball really doing, and are they trying? A league source confirmed this is something they are monitoring closely, but there is an obvious question that they have to debate as they consider the way forward. Talking Major League Baseball. What more can they do? Consider this breakdown, or perhaps the most detailed frisking of a pitcher in the modern memory. Okay, James Karinchak, has been accused of using something around his hair to gain some type of spin rate. Okay, he plays pitches for the Guardians. Okay, the umpire literally touches his grown hair, like his hair. They're feeling him up, right? Like you're going through the security check. Okay, and trying to find out if there's something there. We saw it in the playoffs, Padres and Mets. The Mets thought something was going on with Musgrove's ears or swollen. They had something red around it, right? They said it was like some hot sauce. Buck Showalter wanted to call it out. They didn't, no evidence or something, and game on. They still played on without any penalty or anything going on. But everybody is watching, and some coaches are now were stepping out during Major League Baseball games and even in the playoffs to check the pitchers. Will this happen in the World Series? Wow, what a controversy, what a debate this will be during the World. And does baseball really want that? But we have to wait and see. So, the umpire's checks are almost useless, is what one quote is from this general manager, okay? Useless because they're not really gaining or getting anything out of it, meaning they're still finding ways to spin the ball, the pitchers. So what are you checking for? They're not going to show up with the stuff that they had, the spider tack that they were using before. They're not going to have it. They know that you're looking for it. It's just like taking the urine test. There's another way of doing it, right? So, but the umpires' checks seem to be pretty thorough, though, right? They look pretty hard. Or sometimes I see it on TV. It takes like a half a second, and they're like, okay, good. Like it's like the guy checking ID at the club, right? Just barely sees it. All right, you're right. All right, like I don't care. All right, but so is it useless what the umpires are doing, or do they got to do something else? Okay, because they're like touching, frisking the pitchers the best they can, their gloves, everything. One official for Major League Baseball said, I think they need to hire Major League Baseball officials to sit in the dugout or bullpen and do serious checks. Okay, is that possible? Yes. I mean, the NFL, if you haven't seen the NFL and been on the sidelines, they got officials, NFL officials all over that sidelines. Not just watching some weird, cheating, Spygate stuff, but they're watching, the regulations and the restrictions and the non-restrictions of stuff that players and coaches, everything that's going on. They want this game to be as fair as possible. So there's a lot of eyes. There's eyes in the sky. Does baseball have eyes in the sky? Good question. They don't. It's just that umpire on the field. Another reason, though, this is something that I want to talk about, that maybe baseball hasn't really wanting to go hard on this, or maybe they are. All right, maybe they're trying really hard to make sure they take away the spin rate because they want more offense, and the game needs to be more exciting. But then the spin rate comes in, and there's no offense. But maybe they don't care. Maybe because they see that maybe salaries and contracts can be low. Think about this. If numbers are down statistically for ball players, how do they go into contracts, right? And negotiate? So is this Major League Baseball attempting to quiet down huge statistical numbers, with hitters that have been having, great years or, previous years, which helps owners when negotiating contracts? If the players' offensive numbers are down or below average, it helps the owner. I mean, you have to assume there's some leverage there, a lot of leverage. Lower the cost of paying the players. Baseball has dealt with major monster contracts. Think about this, right? Offensive hitters with huge, huge contracts, right? Payday, Mike Trout, $400 million contract. Bryce Harper, $300 million contract. Tatis, $300 million contract. Mookie Betts, $300 million contract. Lindor of the Mets, $300 million contract. We got Stanton. We got Corey Seager, big, Machado, right? You got Arenado, $200 million contract. We got Rendon, right? Joey Votto, right? I'm just naming players in the top 25 salaries of all time, and these guys are still actively playing. So that is pushing the wallets of the current owners, right? Because everything in the last 20 years, the last 10 years, had just ballooned contracts in Major League Baseball. Okay? So out of the top 25 salaries all time in baseball, 19 are hitters, 6 are pitchers. Okay? 6 are pitchers. Now, according to the Forbes, MLB salaries have totaled $4 billion each of the past 5 seasons since 2006, not including the 2020 pandemic. Now, I'll remind you, this year, Aaron Judge's contract, he's a free agent. There's rumors that he wants $400 million. There's somebody that he wanted $500 million, right? We don't know what's true. Can he get it? Will he get it? Are owners willing, or do the owners are in on it, saying we are not budging anymore? We got to clear this stuff out. We're getting killed. And because when one guy makes a lot of money, that elevates the guys below them. They prorate it, Well, you're not Mike Trout, but you did pretty good this year. So we think our guy deserves, $180 million, right? Everybody's making 180, right? $100 million. That's, how does baseball survive that? Or how do the owners profit? Because it is a business. Okay. And then you have Ohtani, who is a free agent after this next season. So he's a free agent after 2023. So there's at least 2 more big names out there that are looking for big pays. So now we're wondering about baseball, right? Now we're wondering about if baseball can withstand and hold off This is my thinking, that baseball does not want to worry about the spin rate. They threw their hands in it, made it happen, and then they closed their eyes, put the blindfold on, and they just said, "Hey, this helps us." This is my belief, because the numbers are going way up in salaries, right? The average, we're talking baseball teams that are going to be spending, $300 million. You'll have like 8 teams having to do that, the big name teams. And the teams that don't want to spend on that, where are they going to be? Do they want to spend it? Are they still going to stick with their $30-40 million, salary, team salary on their roster? You may get a huge difference, and you're never going to get the low-income teams, and that or low market teams to compete with the bigger market teams. And now the parity just gets destroyed. So baseball owners know this. They want to stay competitive, right? They also want the other owners want to be competitive. At least we think they do. Like, there's some teams I don't believe they really care about the competition winning. It's all about the dollar. I hope, hey, we won. All right. Well, that's not bad. It makes me more money because more people are coming in. But if we lose, we had a good year and everybody's still talking about us for next season. Like they got owners like that for baseball. All right. I don't know if Kip's going to make it in here. If he doesn't, it's okay. I got John Turner coming in here momentarily. It's still 10-3 Buccaneers beating the Ravens. Tom Brady has looked pretty good. And right now the Ravens are trying to score and threaten a little bit, but we'll keep you going here. All right, let me pop this on the screen for you. All right, this is for baseball. Okay, now when you're talking about spin rate, okay, I updated this. Okay, if you can tell, I'm going to read it to you. These are the last 4 teams standing before the World Series: Yankees, Phillies, Padres, Astros. Okay, the Yankees struck out 50 times within the first 4 games. They got swept. The Phillies in 4 games, they won their series, but they struck out 44 times. The Padres struck out 45 times, and the Astros struck out 25 times. A big difference. Now, some people are going to say, oh, the Astros are just a contact, good-hitting team, and they don't strike out a whole lot. And when it comes to spin rate, they're able to put the ball in play more. Well, do you think they do? Now, you can have your own conspiracy, your own, or some people saying, are the Astros up to their own no good again? Or are the Astros using, because when you look at the Phillies and Padres series, there were some scoring runs in there. There were scoring runs. Like, it was a fun series to watch. Even though the Phillies took them out pretty early, but there was a lot of action. And then you had the Yankees and the Astros series. It was a dud, even though it was a sweep, but it was like low scoring pitch battles. Like, both these teams were using, some type of substance with that spin rate looked like, right? Now, if you look at the Astros, 25, they struck out 25 times against the Yankees in 4 games. In 1 game, they struck out 11. That was Jarrett Cole, who's known to strike out guys. And he's also tied into the fact that he was possibly tied in with all that spider tack substance that other pitchers are using, and that's why he was doing so well. And now maybe he's using it again. And maybe that's why the Astros, didn't hit the ball. The Astros, if you're thinking about the World Series, when they beat the Yankees, it was just home runs, folks. They had a couple of timely hits, a double or a single here and there, but nothing. It was all home runs. And when you think about them against Seattle, it took home runs again. Alvarez, and it took, the extra inning game stuff. So where are the Astros? And are the Astros also struggling with this? I am very curious what's going to go on with the Phillies against the Astros in the World Series, because the Phillies look like they're going to hit everything. And if their bats go quiet, like Seattle's bats went quiet, like the Yankees' bats went quiet, are we having red flags about the Astros again? Just food for thought. All right. I'll get that off the screen there. All right. I appreciate your time with me here at Hanna Time at JJ's Grub Shack in East Mesa, Arizona. And Thursday night football going on. All right. I got something else for you. This is a fun fact for you. Of the 2 teams in the World Series since the divisional era of 1969, the Astros had 106 wins this year, but the Phillies had 87. 87. That is the biggest the biggest differential of World Series teams when it comes to wins. Now, they had a new playoff format. There was an extra playoff team. The Phillies are and playing the best baseball out of the National League. They proved it. They earned it, right? They had 87 wins. Now, some people say that's not fair. It's like catch-22. Now, look at the Astros. They won 106 games. Okay? If the Astros lose, how big of an upset is it when you look at the season record? Now, season record-wise, I think the Astros, it is an upset. Everybody's picking the Astros to win in 6 or more or less. Now, for the Phillies side of it, if you really want to think about it, they're on a roll. They're hot. They've been playing great baseball since they fired their coach, their manager. They've been on fire, and they've been just going and going. And they, if there was more time, they would have caught the Mets or the Braves, right, and surpassed them. That's how hot they are. So are the Braves playing better than the Astros? We're going to find this out. We got to find out what is for real. Some people think the Astros are just going to end this Phillies, Cinderella story kind of thing. They're not a Cinderella story. They're not. They got gamers on that team. So I'm excited. So we're going to find out, about the Phillies and Astros, and I hope it goes far and long. I love baseball, and we'll check it out. All right, now more numbers and graphs here. Dusty Baker. Let me get this off the screen for you real quick. Dusty Baker is the longest tenure manager in baseball history without a title. By far. Look at that. 2,093 games so far without winning a World Series. He's got four more wins away to get off of that list. Okay. Bob Melvin was number 5 on that list. He just got knocked out. Buck Showalter was in the playoffs. He had a shot, but he's in the middle of that number 3. But G-Mock of the Angels, Angels were pretty good for a while under G-Mock. And then we got to go all the way back to Clark Griffin of Washington. Look at that. Another Washington team. So Dusty Baker trying to get rid of this, if the Astros don't win the World Series, right, what are the Astros, right? What goes on with the Astros if the Astros don't win the World Series? Who are the Astros is the bigger question, right? It's a question that I always want to bring up because are the Astros 4 World Series in 6 years? It's tainted, but at the same time, the Astros may have figured it out. Only 4 players remain from those other World Series, right? So who is this Astro team? There's a lot of negativity still. They'll never get rid of what they've done to the game itself. They ruined the game. They've scarred themselves. But if they don't win the World Series, that means out of 6 years, with all this greatness that you want to talk about the Astros, they got 1 World Series ring, and that was the biggest scandal since the Black Sox cheating, basically, of a World Series back in 1919 or something like that, right? So where will the Astros be, and where is their legacy? Something to think about. If the Astros can't get another ring, we were just going to look at them as a different way, and that 1 ring, you're going to hang your hat on that, but hey, you got an asterisk next to it. He's got a big cheating asterisk next to it. That's how it goes. All right. I got so much to show you here. How you doing, John? I think John's in my green room. You there, John? All right. I'm going to pop John Turner in. I'm going to talk more baseball with him, and then we're going to talk football because he's a football guy, insider, but I don't want to ruin his day. Actually, you know what, John? Let's put you in.
I like baseball.
Oh, you do like baseball.
I was going to ask you if, they could move the cameras elsewhere in the stadium. They could be using those vibrating anal beads that those chess masters are using these days. Wow. You never know.
All right. So we got anal beads for the athlete who enjoys that. But his idea is
for the sign stealer in you.
Right. So think about it. This is pretty much what the Astros were doing back then. They had a vibrator on them, okay? And it vibrated because some guy had a remote control because he was doing it to his wife probably. And he goes, you know what? I should do this to my ball players, and we can cheat and find out what pitchers are coming, and we can vibrate. One is fastball, two is curve, or blah blah blah. It doesn't change. Now, how do you hide it? But now they're using codes. They use the pitch comm on their wrist and the pitcher, but there's three infielders that have it. This is something true, John. Three infields get to have the pitch comm in their ear in the infield. Is there pitch comms in the helmet when they're batting? I've been watching the fielders that have the pitch comm and watching how they hit during the game, and I can't get the numbers right, but I'm gonna say they're the ones hitting, right? They're the ones hitting if you're looking at it, but I can't just throw that out there without real concrete numbers. But it's like, all right, so they're wearing the pitch comm in the ear, and what that is, folks. Again, just to remind you, is that they get they get buzzed or they get communicated on, like the quarterback getting communication with the sidelines, right? And they all get to hear it. So now it's not even buzzing. Now it's like curveball. They're just telling you it. So now they come into the dugout and they're the ones legally having to have that. But what stops a team to putting that in a helmet? You're right. Now we got all the spin rate going on. It's back, and we saw teams struggling to hit the ball, and any advantage you can get to get a hit is part of the game. But the illegal stuff, and if you're the Houston Astros, if you're doing it again, man, you can like destroy your whole baseball city, because people are going to come there with torches. It's like they're going to burn down your city because you're going back to what you've done before, cheating, and you're going to say everybody's doing it, and they probably are in some way. But you can't do it because you already got a mark on you. All right, your thoughts on this so far?
Well, my thoughts is that speaking of Washington, Frank Robinson was here in Washington, and he had Bryce Harper, and he had Anthony Rendon, and he had some pretty good pitchers, and he still didn't win. Right. So I don't think that Frank Robinson is the type of guy that would install a program that would go out there and get an edge. He strikes me as one of those traditionalist type managers, and was one of those type players. So I think he's one of those old school unwritten rule type guys. So I think they're in pretty good hands, but you never know. I mean, there could be something going on outside of his knowledge or control. I haven't really seen anything with the numbers, not that I've bothered to look, associating infielders hitting a little better. I know Bryce Harper is hitting everything, and he plays outfield. So, but I think he's naturally a very, very, very great hitter. So,
right.
Hey, 4 out of 6 years up there, knocking on the door. Remember the 1990 Braves, the 90s Braves, they were up there every year. Nobody ever accused them of cheating. They just, couldn't get it done all the time until my Cleveland Indians in 98, Omar Vizquel let one go through his legs, and they finally get a title. But but they were up there every year, and they couldn't win. And hey, we never really associated them with cheating. Of course, they had the arms of God. Right. In the bullpen, but it's going to be an interesting series indeed. And I don't know if you can relate 87 wins versus the 109 so much in baseball, because I think, okay, let's say Harper misses some time and his wins above replacement is at an X or Y number, right? And you're right. Missing a couple of guys like him. He seems to always be gone in April or May and some of June. He's never playing during that time of year. He's always recovering from something, recovering from a new beard trim or something. but so he's gone. Like Mike Jarvis used to say, harvesting your nuts. You lose a lot of early games on in the season. They start to pile up, and at the end of the year, you've only won 87, but you're a really, really, really good team right now.
But,
so
but baseball wants to eliminate the sticky stuff, right? The batters have they have their pine tar. Pitchers are not allowed to have it, right? But in a sport where unwritten rules like baseball, there have always been slight differences between what's the rule book and what's happened on the field. Baseball made a big push to eliminate steroids from the game, or did they? I don't know. But steroids produce players that look different, broke, hollowed numbers, right? Now pitchers were doing it with that sticky stuff, and some people don't care. It's like, I'll do whatever you got. But when it comes to the raw athlete, man on man, we still want the game to be pure of all sports. That's the beauty of athletic competition is just to be who is athletically better, and that you're not getting in an advantage, right? But everybody's going to try. So the sticky stuff is in that same category when it comes to pitchers and using that for that spin rate. So the sport is trying to change, the play on the field, increase balls and play more. They're moving back the, you're no more going to shift next season. In baseball now it's going to have more holes. You're going to get that little dribbler through the hole. It's all different, and more contact hitters are going to be needed instead of launching it. Or you go with the guys with the higher exit velocity off the bat, because nobody's going to be able to catch that ball through the hole. It's just going to exit through fast, those ground balls, those liners, and things like that. So it's going to be interesting how baseball is trying to manipulate. I was trying to tap into the fact that maybe the owners want the spin rate because it's going to lower contracts and salaries because they're getting destroyed. And they got two more big ones coming with Ohtani and now a Judge. And it's just going to escalate everybody else at the bottom, right? I mean, that's kind of how it works. So, but overall, it's reducing the strikeouts and the strikeout rate. People are getting tired and bored of it, and it's not fun for the game. Baseball is meant to have. If you strike a guy out, it should be exciting. And it still has that little pulse to it, but it's not. It's like, oh no, it's part of the game. It's like ho hum. It was supposed to be a major dagger, right? Like the home run was supposed to be a major dagger, but that's all we get. It's home runs and strikeouts. Well, now next year, baseball is shifting and getting away from it, and at least trying to. The dynamic of the game, we'll see how it plays out and how teams structure their rosters and things like that. But it's amazing, and baseball is trying to fix its game and correct things so much. And also, I mentioned NFL football. They have eyes in the sky. They got NFL officials all around that sidelines, and baseball just has the umpire, the guys on the field. There's nobody else making the ruling, or the guy in New York on the instant replay stuff. But there's no eye in the sky. There's no other things looking. There's no, like you said, the remote control guy. Who's walking the stadium? Do we have like it's hard. That can happen in any stadium. See, football, you have sidelines. Baseball, there's nobody on the field other than the coaches and players, right? So it's a different dynamic when it comes to it. But it doesn't change the way you can cheat, though. And I think it's hilarious that it could be, anal beads that vibrate because nobody's going to check your butt, right? So your last thoughts on baseball, and then we'll move on. I think I have all my baseball stuff out of the way.
Well, okay, you can move the infielders around. There was even talk about moving the mound back a couple of feet, to take some of the velocity off the pitch. But they decided not to go that route. The batters are still going to have to make contact with the ball. In order to get a base hit, you actually have to hit the ball. A lot of times these balls go out into the stands. Okay, but if they make it into the field of play, they have an opportunity to get to a base. But these pitchers are coming in throwing 90, 95 plus. And the moment that drops down into the 80s, well, you're out of there. In comes the next guy that can throw 90 plus. So, I mean, you actually have to physically make contact bat to ball. Another thing with the cheating with the pitchers, they're checking these balls now, or at least they were checking them really aggressively. What, a year ago, 2 years ago? Mm-hmm. I don't know if they've kind of stopped doing that so often.
They're just checking the gloves. That's all they're doing, John. And
checking the gloves. They're looking for Bardol, Crisco, Vagisil, everything that Harris was putting on them, jalapeno up the nose. But it seems like certain pitches are now gone anyway. Like there's like 0 pitchers that use the knuckleball now. There are very few that use, you know what I mean, certain splitters and cutters.
But you know why though, John? Because the way they're swinging at the plate, they have a whole new technique where swing for the fences, hard contact. Don't worry about it; it'll find its way. And if you miss, you miss because a strikeout is an out. But as you know, you put the ball in play, your percentages go up for something good to happen, an error, or it finds its way through the hole, a blooper, things like that. So pitchers, they can just throw their heat and then throw those couple of breaking balls, and with that spin rate, that's, they're recaptured the spin rate. You really don't have a shot. I mean, that's why averages are 230 in baseball. Like that's the average this past season. That's horrible. There were guys batting
very bad.
They were batting 180, 190, and they're still in the lineup. Like that's unheard of. But because the average is down so low, that it's like everything drops below that. It used to be like a batting average was like 250, on an average, which was, you'll take that. If your guy's batting 250, he's like a star. He's an all-star.
I was a Cleveland Indians fan in the mid 90s, or at least growing up all the way up until the late 90s when they finally lost. I said, I've had it with this team. But if you were batting under 265 on that roster, you weren't going to last there very long at all. You know what I mean? Or 270, But here's one thing I think that would bring excitement. Have you seen that Venezuelan kid? He's like 19 or 20 years old, and he can throw heat with both arms. He can switch.
I saw it on social media.
Okay, this guy is phenomenal. He's striking out everything and everyone. And luckily in the league he plays, he's like in a high A or low A league or something like that. They allow you to switch like every pitch. So he might give you one from the right hand at 0-0 count, go 0-1, turn around and throw lefty. You get a fastball right, curveball left, cutter right, you're done.
Right.
So if more pitchers could just figure out how to be ambidextrous, then they wouldn't have anything to fear. You can change all the rules you want. Just pitch better.
You're right. Now, I got a lot of people making comments about this. Let's go back to the top of my list. I got to say hi to Audra, Karen, Verna. Dave Hoffman, baseball is an art, not science or math. Always been. I was talking about the feel of the game and the metrics earlier. Mariana Shaban. Hey, Mariana, how you doing? George Zick says, I think a player that wants to play for the love of the game. I don't see that anymore. Jeff Brown in the house. Dave Hoffman comes back, cracks me up, banging on the trash cans, defeated technology. True, cheating. John Simonelli. Hey, Johnny. He says, Aaron Judge is staying in New York. Made him an offer he couldn't refuse. He's talking mafia style. Yeah. Ernie Salinas. Dave Hoffman says, Dave is really on this. He's loving his baseball. So I'll give him a lot of airtime here. When every batter is trying to hit a home run, strikeouts, it'll go up. Phillies fired Girardi. Thompson turned the team around. Yeah, great story there. Gene Mauch managed the Phillies also. Yeah, Gene Mauch, great manager, just couldn't, maybe his era of managing was up against some great dynasty type of team. They're a great team. That's a tough one there for Gene Mauch. John Tasso, Stephen Bergang in the house, Steve Ofter in the house, John Wren in the house. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for popping in. Keep listening. We're talking baseball, and then we're going to shift into football. But, the World Series on tap and everything else going on. I wanted to show you one more thing here. Okay. I'm going to save this part. John, for Mancini at 7:15. I think he'll like this because he loves his Padres, and I was gonna talk Padres. But check this out, guys. If you want to know about gambling, if you want to know what's going on in our economy, if you want to know what's going on, read this. Our faces are covered, which is probably a good thing. But folks, Nevada Sportsbook won a net $70.7 million in September. I know it's football season. It's the second most lucrative month ever for the state. The only other time was 2021, last year. What is going on, right? Now, my belief, our economic times are hard, okay? The sports books won $51.7 million on football and NCAA college stuff It was in September. People are gambling now. My 2 cents is people are struggling, and they're looking for a quick win, or quick cash. Like they need help, and a lot of times people who have less money in their pocket tend to gamble more because they're looking for that one lucky moment, right? And whatever it is. I just think it correlates. I don't know if you agree with this at all, man, but I think it correlates with our gambling numbers are correlating with society and economics. Sports again has an impact and showing some measurement of what's going on in our world, especially here in the United States. And I just wanted to throw that in there because to me it's real. And I know a lot of people who just struggle in my lifetime. They just want to gamble. I go, why are you gambling? I don't gamble. Why are you gambling? John, the reason why I don't gamble is because I made a bet. I took the Steelers and Jerome Bettis over the Cardinals one year, and I was given 5.
Sounds like a good bet.
All right, I given 5. It was in Arizona. It went to overtime. Jerome Bettis scores a winning touchdown. They win by 6. I can't find my ticket. And I'm like, even when I win, I can't win. So that was it. I was like, I'm done.
I think nowadays gambling has become now every team has like a gambling company sponsoring them in one way or another. So like for instance, on my phone, I have the Major League Baseball app, and it's got the Washington Nationals logo on there because that's my favorite team, right?
Yeah.
And now when I go open into the app and all that, and I'm looking, let's see the top 30 prospects for the Nationals. Let's see how they're looking and if anybody moved up or down or whatever. There's this little thing somewhere on top or bottom. Right. I can make a bet. I can make a bet now. The Nationals are partnering with Caesars or MGM or something. And if I click here, they'll match my first bet up to a certain amount, or I'll get a bonus of $250 just by placing one bet, and I think that even the older crowd, like my grandfather, very old school guy, he's a guy that's still, he knows what your phone number is because he'll flip through his Rolodex. Right. And he'll go, oh, there's Brad Hanna's number right there. Let me give him a call, and he'll punch in your 7 numbers and call you. But see, even guys like him, he's kicking 85's door down now, and he's now got a smartphone, and he even has finally figured out, now that the state of Maryland has come around, he does not have to drive all the way to New Jersey to make a sports bet. He can just go on his little smartphone and make it. So it's just become so much easier. When you're watching the games, you're seeing the commercials for gambling apps. Different companies are advertising them. They're getting the stars to help advertise. You know what I mean? So not only are more states joining on and allowing it, it used to just be Vegas or Native American reservation or, Bet Jamaica or something. You know what I mean? Those were like the 3 things.
Yeah, man.
Or if
Take
you
your
knew
money
a
here.
hacker in Canada, maybe you could get it done. But then, now all the states are starting to come around. There's a certain few that will never come around, like Utah and stuff like that. Well, sorry. That's probably why the NFL will never go to Salt Lake, right? Because they don't allow gambling.
They don't.
But anyway, I think that's what it's a sign of that time as well. You're right about the financial struggles. We all want to retire and not have to worry about things that wealthy people never seem to have to worry about, right? We all want a boat, an extra RV, and a 3rd or 4th or 5th castle, like a Nicolas Cage, an island, unlimited Michael Jordan shoes. But anyway, so in order to get these things, you're going to have to strike gold, right? You're not going to get enough raises in your lifetime to get all the things that you really want. And if you want them, you're going to have to trip over that briefcase full of $100 bills or win big, on a big long shot underdog of some kind. So,
John, there's one more thing about gambling in NFL games and college football, but especially NFL games. You can't really put your finger on games like all season long. If you're a gambling person, you're being surprised. Like, so I think maybe that's part of the reason there's a lot of losses in Vegas with the casinos is possibly that the NFL to me is not producing a lot of good games, and it's a mess, and we don't know who's showing up next week. And yeah, we see teams 5-1 or 6-1 and things like that, but even they are battling to get through those wins and finding ways to win. Some of those teams, even like the Kansas City Chiefs, right? We don't know, right? What's going to happen next? We look at a matchup and we're like, oh, take that team, no doubt. No, it doesn't happen that way. Like, so we've been getting a. What's that?
Look at this game right here.
Yeah,
it's 10-3. Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson. Do you know what the over/under was for this game?
What, 52?
Well, 46.5.
Oh,
but they've got 13. Okay, 13. If you bet the over and now they're sitting at 13, you're already loading your shotgun.
You are.
Okay, right now.
Now, if you took the over, Vegas is right now going, because every game is under. And people are probably thinking like we're back from 2 years ago or a year ago where everybody's scoring 30, 40 points. And some people say, oh, it's coming back. And I tell people, no, it's not. The bubbles burst. There's no more bubble screens. And like they're still going to throw it, but teams know how to play that. Like they know how to play your offense. They all got used to it. They all drafted properly. And it's a struggle. And until teams get away from that and stretch the field and open up their offense, yeah, you can still bubble here and there. I mean, there's been bubble plays for decades in football. It's just not like concentrated, like every play is a bubble play, right? And that's the part that people are tired also in football is that all these offenses are like, for whatever reason, they all wanted to get on board. And I think it's over because defenses have caught up and it's easier to defend. And that's why we're seeing a lot of these low-scoring games now, and I still believe it's going to happen. Until another offensive scheme comes up, and then it changes again. So you got to get physical. You got to get physical again.
Micah Parsons, who can run whatever he runs, a 40 in, or safeties like who is it? Hufanga?
Yep. Yeah, he's really good.
Okay, well he's faster than Speedy Gonzalez, and he can jump all over the place. So you can't run certain things when you got guys like that on the field. They're going to catch you and they're going to kill you.
I think it's also ruining careers. This offense, the system. I think. I mean, I look at Ben Roethlisberger, and because I watched what was going on, I thought this guy was done, and he hung around for a couple of more years. And it was horrible at times, right? It's still like embarrassing in Pittsburgh what's going on. But then I saw a few things from 2 years ago, and I saw it last year because I went to a couple of games in LA, and one of them was a Chargers-Steelers game, and that was I think it was a Sunday night game. I don't know if you remember it. And it was like Ben. I can just see him. He said, "Screw you, Matt Canada. I'm running the offense." And he just it was schoolyard. It was a feel of the game. It was like exactly what you want athletes to be like. And that's where you get the best. But when it's constructed and all like structured, it's too methodic. It's easy when it's methodic. You can strategize easily against a methodic offense, right? Oh, but we got 35 of these plays, and this one play we can run it 6 different ways. Well, guess what? They're not really doing much with it. It's like, oh, you're just going to throw to that guy. Well, guess what? I got 8 guys. I got a deep safety, and we'll just go over the middle more. Well, you just said it. There's guys who are faster now. They're covering the green field more, and it's a big cloud around the offensive line, like the line of scrimmage. It's a big cloud. I mean, so, I can get 4 yards out of this. I'm seeing more tip ball and more distraction at the line of scrimmage. I see more teams playing better defense, and I think it's because they made it so easy now that they're all like locked in on their guru head coach, their guru offensive coordinator who knows how to run a bubble. It's over. It's over. I truly believe it's over. And you may get a pop game here and there. That's, whatever. But the numbers are showing me right now that it's over. And here's something else. I think it ruined Matt Ryan's career. Okay. Where's Matt Ryan here? I got it right here. Matt Ryan. Breaking. Right? Done. Poor guy. But I don't think he knows. I don't think he likes the bubble up. I think he's not designed for that kind of a system, right? I don't think he's been able to do it. Now, somebody threw something out here earlier today that said since he was 28-3 winning the Super Bowl, then blew it, it's been 28 months and 3 days the day he was told he's not starting anymore. I don't know if that's true, but I got to look that up.
Yeah, that sounds like one of those calculated memes, if you ask me.
Right. But I believe guys like him and these other quarterbacks are being squeezed out because they can't. They're not, I mean, you would think they're good quarterbacks and they have a way, but it's not the offense they've been running, and now they're being shifted into something, and it's hard. I think it's struggling with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, and it's hard. It's very hard. That's why teams like Baltimore can succeed because they've already been, physical already. They've already been playing the line of scrimmage. What's coming, and they've been succeeding at it. Okay, but they're even getting caught up. People are catching up or caught up to that Raven offense, also. But quarterbacks, I mean, I feel bad for guys like. Even Justin Herbert is having, they love this guy, but his numbers aren't like, well, he's thrown so many yards. I'm like, but look at his completion rate and look at his this and look at that, right? Give me a quarterback in the NFL right now that is blowing you away. Literally, like Geno Smith was leading the NFL. What was it, 2 weeks ago? A week ago when I was talking about him leading the league in completion rate and quarterback rating. When that happens, something is wrong with the game itself. That Geno Smith, at one point was leading the NFL in some of these statistics that everybody was glorifying. The quarterback rating, the percentage of completion rate, and it was all over those numbers, right? But now Geno shows up. Right? Are we loving Geno? Nobody's still loving it. Almost like, but that's a wake up. It's a wake up. Now, Geno, give him credit. He's managing the game. He's probably a little bit better. I'm not going to take away from Geno's success. But overall, I think it's ruining quarterbacks because they're just managing this little offense. And veteran quarterbacks like Brady, that's why Brady and Bruce Arians didn't get along. Aaron Rodgers, turmoil right there. Matt Ryan, I'm surprised because he's got his old coach there. Or no. No, I thought he has a good coach there in
Frank Reich.
Right, Frank Reich. I thought that would work out. Not quite. That's why I went back to the Big Ben because I literally saw Ben just like take it over himself. Like he was like doing it his way, and that was big to show me that something is definitely systematically like watching here in Arizona with the Cardinals. I think Kyler Murray is tired of it. Kyler Murray wants to throw deep. He likes to get the ball downfield. He looks for it, but it's hard for him when too much pressure, right? It's got too many bodies around the line of scrimmage, and he's small, so it's hard for him, and then he's limited at that point. So, but I think Kyler really wants to open up the offense, and I don't know if his coach wants to. That's why we had an argument last week. You watching that game? They said it was because of the time, the game clock or the play clock, but that's also because the play wasn't coming in on a 2-point conversion, right? It's almost like the feel of the game, be ready, be prepared, but allow the athletes, guys like Staubach and Bradshaw, they call their own plays and they won Super Bowls. I don't know if Joe Montana, I think he did eventually call his own plays, but he was a system guy under the Bill Walsh system. So your thoughts on this? I know we got a lot of time here coming in here with Mancini, but I still got this guy on the screen. Let's get him off the screen. How about this guy right here? You think he's happy in Green Bay?
A-Rod, the immunized. He's a funny one. His comments earlier this week about certain players shouldn't be out there if they're making too many mistakes. They obviously don't get it. And he was, of course, attacked for those comments. And he said, look, I talked about this with these players. And then his coach came out and said the truth hurts. So the coach agrees with him. And then he says that he's already said these same things to those same guys. And he's like, it's not like I told you which guys I'm talking about. So you guys can just wonder who I'm talking about. Just watch the film, pal. But us here as fans and analysts, or these geniuses on ESPN and stuff like that, when they break down these games and show us their all 22 breakdowns and all that other stuff, when it comes down to it, we don't know if a wide receiver ran the wrong route. We don't know if, he was supposed to go out 10 steps and turn around, or go out 7 and turn around. There's a big difference in a game of inches. So if these guys are making mistakes like that over and over and over again, and it's throwing off the rhythm and timing of the play, that, oh, by the way, Aaron Rodgers is pretty good at performing, I got to side with the quarterback, as nutty as he is with his holistic medications and his exotic, crazy women that drive race cars and all this other stuff. He's got a lot of stuff with him, UFO sightings. But when it comes down to it, he's a pretty good football player. And I think at the ripe old age of 38, he's earned that right to call people out. Tom Brady does it all the time. He takes it out on laptops and yells at people on the sidelines and yells. And
I'm okay with that too. I'm okay with that. Yeah, you're still being a leader, and they earned that right too. They won, and they've been successful at it too. When you do the bubble stuff and everything is at the line of scrimmage, the short passes, the little quick slants, right off, ball's hiked. Catch the ball, the quarterback in the shotgun, and he turns and throws like right away. Sometimes you're not even looking, like you just anticipate it's going to be right. Defenses are jumping the gun now. There's like, and also that's physical. They can bump there within 5 yards, so they're all going off route, and the timing is off, right? And then the guy gets off the line of scrimmage, and it's like there's more body. It's cloudy, and then, hey, it's the NFL. This big boys, 6'4" or 5 guys coming after you to sack your butt and knock you around. And it's like, you got to move fast. And if your offensive line is, and your offensive line may be good, but it has no shot, because they're not afraid in the NFL, these defenses, to take chances now, because they know they have the second level defense right behind them, because everybody is within that range of 10 yards, and it's realistic, folks. We used to have numbers that we always talk about is plus 20 plays. And there's not a lot of, the numbers are down for plus 20 plays in the NFL. That's because nobody's trying, or they can't get there, or it's too much pressure on the quarterback, but they're all designed short. And so when you talk about guys timing and everything else, I think it's because everybody is so close to each other that getting off the line of scrimmage is not as easy as it used to be. And it does throw it off. And they're a little bit more physical at the line of scrimmage, these cornerbacks and things like that. I mean, we're looking at 10-3, right? Yeah. And the Ravens are still trying to score another touchdown. But people say, oh, these Thursday night games are horrible. No, these are some of the games on Sundays too. Okay. And there is a reason for it. Okay. There is a big reason. I told you why. Defenses have caught up to all the offenses, and now we're watching the shift happen. And if you're not going to build your defense and you build your offensive line, right, and all those little the old school way of football, you may be struggling, because the play action in football is not effective anymore. You got to get under center and do the play action, right? That little shotgun play action is, nobody even cares. It's like they don't even look at it. It wasn't even a threat, right? It's because it's not as damaging, because you can see it in front of you a lot easier. You can't even hide the ball in the shotgun to do a fake. It's not as good. It's like it's embarrassing. And they even try to fake you with the fake handoff in the shotgun. It's like, really? Did you? Some quarterbacks don't even care anymore. Because it's a waste of time. It doesn't freeze anybody. They're still coming to get you. All right. I got a couple of good stories, for Mancini to come in here. All right, I want to talk about this game. It looks like the Ravens are just tied it up, so it's 10-10. The Ravens are 4-3. They're not looking as good as they were in previous years, like everybody else. But it's about surviving and getting through the season and be the Philadelphia Phillies and get into the postseason, and then you run it. And this is maybe what we're looking at. When I'm looking at a team right here, look at this, man. This is the New York Jets, the freaking New York Jets. And I told you folks, the Jets were coming in a couple of years ago, and the reason why is they are building something, and they all I need to do is having one of those great drafts, and they have it. They had it last year. They had a couple of good ones already. Guys were injured, and they got hurt with a couple of injuries this week. By the way, they got offensive lineman out and Breece Hall, which was, man, he was so good. But the New York Jets defense with Saleh at the helm there, at the head coach. Remember him in San Fran with that defense? He's got some pieces now, and he's got a secondary, and he's got Sauce Gardner, who's leading the way. Look at that number right there, folks. The Jets already have 8 interceptions compared to last season, 7. That's not by mistake. It's because they built it, and they're there. And their record, yeah, they may not be this dominant 5-2 team, the New York Jets, but they are definitely better than the average team in the NFL. Right? I would take my chances with the Jets. I would. They will be in the game. I don't believe they get blown out. I don't believe this is a team. I think this team is right there, and they happen to win those closer games, right? But when they go into Green Bay and did what they did, you saw Green Bay sucks, but you still did it, and you still got in there, right? They've taken out some teams, and you got to scratch your head. I do love it. I do like the Jets. I don't know how far are they the Philadelphia Phillies story. The Jets, this team that nobody cares about and doesn't take seriously because it's the Jets.
I think there's a little bit of a stigma that will still be on the Jets for a little while. I mean, if they make some noise in the playoffs and end up in round 2, well, then I think teams will take them more seriously next year. But I think the Jets are still the Jets for a little while in the minds of football fans. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think football fans and even oppositional coaches are, they're looking at film and they're practicing, to do this and to do that, against every opponent they play. But inside of the mind of a player, a psyche, you go into a game, if you're playing Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes,
I just look at a stat on the screen, and I'm going to steal it from the network. Brady, Russell Wilson, and Brady and Rodgers, right? All 3 quarterbacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last year, the offense was averaging like 26, 27, 28 points a game. Now they're down in the mid-teens. Their offenses. Something to think about what's going on in the NFL.
I've got a stat for you.
What's that?
Right here.
Okay, show me. Tell me.
Okay, pocket time.
In the pocket.
Across the NFL, every quarterback. I'm looking at it right now. Pocket time. Guess who's dead last? A man named Brady, Tom Brady, 2.1 seconds.
They're having problems with that offensive line. They lost a lot of guys, and for what I can see tonight, they're simplifying that offense for Tom, and they're trying to run the ball more on the Ravens. Maybe the Ravens aren't a good run defense, but they're trying to simplify it tonight and get and it's been effective. They just can't put points on the board. But why is Tom Brady in the pocket like that?
So he's dead last among all current starting quarterbacks.
Okay.
Third to last is Aaron Rodgers.
There we go.
All right, and guess who's right above Aaron Rodgers, sitting pretty at number 29? Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Okay,
what's the pocket time? What is it? Does it give you a number? Like
Tom Brady is averaging 2.1. Aaron Rodgers 2.2. Kyler Murray 2.2 as well. So there's some ties. Here's one that doesn't surprise me. Carson Wentz, he's right there with them guys. Joe Burrow, he's low on this list. You know who's getting lots of pocket time, and it shows? Kirk Cousins. He's tied for first.
Wow.
With Zach Wilson and Derek Carr. So it does correlate to winning and losing. Patrick Mahomes is second by himself at 2.5. So, and Geno Smith, tied with Patrick Mahomes.
There it is.
So So that says something. If you've
So
got
maybe
a
Gino's having a good year.
Couple of tenths of a second make the world of difference in the NFL.
That's a great stat. You can measure some other things like the pass rush could be effective for the other team, obviously, or maybe just that quick catch and release kind of thing. Shotgun, catch the ball, throw the ball real quick, get it out of your hands, because the bubble is supposed to be quick hits. But when there's nothing there, you don't throw it. Now you're hesitating. Now you got to go to your other options, and there you are, right? So, but these teams are not protecting the quarterback, or they're getting the ball out of the hands way too quick. And that's why you're saying developing your plays more, and letting your receivers run the routes and get downfield more makes sense. I think Seattle gets downfield a little bit more. They've always been known with that Carroll at the helm there as the head coach. But I'm not surprised Gino's up there because of his numbers right now. He's not blowing you away. It's just that he's been managing the game very well. And the less mistakes you make, the better you are. Like Matt Ryan is a disaster there. I thought the Colts and him, who was that? David Robles came in here and said that feel bad for Matt Ryan, thought he was going to do good in Indianapolis. Yeah, I did too. I thought that was, but it either his days are up as a quarterback, or it's that. But even the young quarterbacks, nobody's blowing you away, and that's the other part about this. So I'm if Zach Wilson of the Jets gets going, he's and learns. And don't forget, he's only have maybe how many games has he really started since his rookie year last year? Not a whole lot. So
yeah.
Right. So if he, is he a managing game, or is he a guy who's going to get to the next level? And if that happens, the Jets are going. They are flying high. That's like if that quarterback takes off and that team takes off, that's where they're at.
He just looks like a 22-year-old version of Colt McCoy that's just doomed to carry a clipboard his whole career with a baby face at the same time. Here's another quick oddball statistic. Tied for first place, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert, and Tom Brady, Kyler Murray, all sitting at 17, tied for first place in drops.
Receiver drops?
Yeah.
Wow.
All four of them are tied at 17.
So you're telling me
Jacoby Brissett is also tied with them, but
interesting.
Nobody cares about Jacoby Brissett.
Real quick, what's their combined record overall?
Well, Aaron Rodgers is 3-4, and touchdown Tommy I think is also 3-4.
3-4.
Right?
Cardinals are 3-4.
Cardinals are 3-4, and then Herbert, I think they're 3-4, or 2-5.
So they got 12 wins so far out of was it 16? No, yeah, they're 12-16. Yeah, that makes sense.
500. You know what I mean? You guys,
they're below 500. Yeah. So guys catch the ball. Maybe they're better record. But the Cardinals get Hopkins back. That can maybe help Kyler out a little bit. I know there was some receivers hurt for Tom, and that may help. He lost his tight end. That doesn't help him either. I don't. With what's going on in Green Bay, obviously he lost Adams, and he's not happy with his receivers. That makes sense, and maybe that's why Aaron is calling people out.
Well, look at this. The on-target percentage for Aaron Rodgers is number 1 in the league at 81.7. He's throwing the most on-target balls. Tom Brady's number 3. So, I mean, it's not them. You know what I mean? It's really, it can't be all them, and just, they're getting old, they're terrible, they're losing, retire.
Wow.
It's
that's great stuff, man. Because I'm hearing all the negativity around Aaron Rodgers. I'm hearing all the negativity around Tom. But this is happening with other quarterbacks around the league. But these are the big names, right? So of course, we're going to pay attention to it. Of course we are. But it's happening all over the place. So great stuff there, because now I got a better feel. And I haven't really been hard on Tom, and I haven't been hard on Rodgers. I haven't been hard on a lot of quarterbacks. I mean, I've been hard on Kyler Murray, but I eased up on it when I really started believing that coach. We got a problem with the coach here in Arizona, and unless they can figure that out. All right, what else do I got here for you? Let's see here. Mancini is supposed to pop in here any minute, and I got some good stuff for you. Right now on the scoreboard, Ravens, every time I look up, the Ravens have the ball. I don't know what's going on, but it was 10-3 Buccaneers. Their first two possessions, they went right down the field the first time, scored a touchdown. The second time, they went all the way down to the goal line area, and they ended up kicking a field goal. And it looked so good, the Bucs offense. But since then, it's been a dud.
Yeah, it looks like it was four plays for a whopping 28 yards. The Bucs had it and then punted.
Okay. All right. And it looks like the Ravens are, manufacturing some drives and, but I've seen them, cross midfield a whole bunch. They're about to go across midfield again. It looks like, field position. The Ravens are not blowing anybody away, but you're on the road and you're Baltimore and you can get this win and get to 5-3. I mean, this was one of those games on the schedule you thought the Bucs were going to beat the Ravens. If you're the Ravens, this is like, wow, we're going to steal one on the schedule, or at least like the average fan looked at it that way.
Here's some oddball numbers. The last 5 drives for Tom Brady and the Bucs: 4 for 28 punt, 3 for -1 punt, 6 for 24 punt, 3 for 2 punt.
Wow.
And 3 for 6 punt.
Wow. Wow.
My senior year of high school team could put those numbers up on the Ravens.
This may have to be another defensive play again. What was it, a couple of weeks ago? It took a defensive play to stop. Was it the Bears at the goal line? Whatever it was. Was it Washington or somebody like last week, or it was a Sunday night? We saw the interception in the end zone with the Dolphin game. Like somebody's gonna have to step up and make a play again to change this game around. It just seems like it's defense. Remember, I've been having the tone for defense. The defenses are going to win games. If you're, I think the Vikings are number 1 in the league with turnovers differential. I mean, they're a plus, like, I don't know, 6 or 7. They're really up there, and that's another reason why they're winning. They protect the ball and they get in the ball back. And that's a big deal in the NFL. But you got to be able to score off the turnovers. I don't know if there's turnovers in this game because I haven't really been monitoring that closely. I know I have the score box in front of me, but I haven't looked at it. But it just seems like a very methodic game. And again, one of those games everybody's watching going, I saw some stats the other day, John, about the baseball playoffs numbers destroyed Thursday night football, Monday night football. Like, it just like, and people say, "Oh, the game sucked. Nobody cared." Well, that's part of the reason. Like, if you can't put a product on the field, well, and I always go back. The NFL has become a defensive league again, and it's because of everything I mentioned. They caught up. They figured everything out, and it always happens in football, in sports. You come up something good. You're the hottest thing going on, but that only lasts. It's got a window, and then it all catches up. Once the book is on you, they know the book, and they start to find ways and figure it out. It may take a year. It took a couple of years to get it right, but now it's changed, and you better have a defense. You better have a defense to stick around in the NFL. Your 2-4 teams right now are not 2-5 teams right now. I don't think they're horrible. They just haven't won those close games. It's one of those kind of things. Like, they very well could be 5-2 and be the New York Jets. All right, I got Mancini coming in. Hey, Mark, how you doing, buddy? I appreciate you coming in on the big time. I got a 3-way. I got the trio. We had a moment earlier, Mark, about cheating in baseball, and the fact that technology is taken over. We were wondering about anal beads. Could be a possibility.
Somebody's still bitching about the Houston Astros. I know they are in Los Angeles.
I'm still gonna bitch until I can feel comfortable with it. But maybe they're using anal beads. I don't know. Right?
Well, let's break it down. It's 6 straight American League Championship Series, 4 of the last 6 World Series. There's no Springer. There's no Cole there. There's no Correa, but they still keep winning. They could be like the New England Patriots of baseball.
But is that a red flag? Like, okay, how are they still doing it? Because, like, and
Well,
the other side of
I
it,
think I think it's upper. I think it's upper management. I think they got a foundation there. They've got structure. They kind of basically put the earplugs in. They got the ice in the veins, and they look at the opponents like pylons on the highway. Just go around them.
yeah. To break it down one time, we're not going to too much in baseball because I did a lot early on, but
well, these myopic Dodger fans out here are still bitching and crying and complaining. They're all set on club records and division titles. That's their season. That's for a city like Kansas City, Cincinnati, or Detroit. Not a big market. Some idiot out of New York was telling me that the Yankees are content with a division title. I said, when was that? Last time I talked to a Yankee fan, they haven't won anything in 12, 13 years. They don't want that. They want a title.
We won titles. Yeah, they won titles. There's no doubt about it. That's a whole new story there. But anyway,
don't worry. I'm catching a lot of flack. The Steelers are going into Philadelphia kicking their ass, and then people in Miami,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Dolphins celebrate.
Mark, I had a number out there about casinos in Vegas had the biggest paying month, second highest paying month. They stole money from people because the NFL product is not that good, and maybe we just can't figure out who really is good in the NFL. No, like we just think week to week. Right by now, we should know who is for real or not. Do you feel who is like you get like two teams maybe that you feel are for real? Like, you think Seattle's for real?
Yeah, well, it's been a crazy week. You got Kanye over there, then you got Martha Stewart trying to date Peter Davidson. A lot of crazy stuff, man, going around the news wire. Then. Now we hear Giselle is completely out of this. She's hightailing it. He didn't quit football, so she's hightailing it. I think I gave you the TMZ report.
Now, I got a theory. Okay. I mean, Tiger Woods, had the broken marriage problem, and then he broke apart, and it took him a long time to get back, right? Because his body broke down. Now, I do know that Tiger Woods' dad told Tiger never get married. And it gave him like an age time, like it was almost like in his 40s, like because he knew what it could be, not because marriage is bad. I'm not saying that, folks. What I'm saying is that a distraction. And if things don't go well at home, and it turns, people every day have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And just focus on you, have fun, do your thing. And he was destroying golf, right? Remember? And then he hooked up with a hot model, and he. Whatever, right? We know the story.
Well, I mean,
Tom Brady's in the same boat. He's in the same boat. But when the athlete can get back into his single life mode, I don't know if Tom can do that. If he's able to, like, if he's done with his wife, or does he still love her? Who knows? But if Tom can find that switch, and this, it is what it is. Like he may get back in the groove. There's a mojo, right? There's that's slump buster moment
I like him, man. I like him. I mean, I really do. But these last couple of weeks, he's looked like he's been on a hunger strike. He's been dropping weight, man. What the hell's going on? Is there any food in Tampa? I might have to check it out, John.
Well, I think a lot of the produce got hit hard by that storm, man.
I think Ian took all the fruit with him, man. There's no food down there in Florida. What the hell's going on, man? I got some friends down there. I got to find out.
He doesn't eat fruit, meat, and vegetables anyway. Doesn't he eat like compacted, condensed air from bottled up and sent back from Mars or something like that? It's like
I feel bad. I felt like I was watching something at 4 a.m. Where you send a quarter to feed some people in other countries. I mean, I said to myself, "What's going on here, man?"
All right, I got something for you, Mark, in the LA area. USC. Did you see this? Former USC teammate of Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart. I'm going to pop it on the screen for you. Okay. Lindell White. Remember Lindell White?
Yeah, running back.
Said he found a duffel bag filled with $150,000 cash when he was at USC. He walked in his room. There was all this cash. And he said, I didn't report it. I don't know how it got there, he says. Oh, does he know how it got there? I mean, USC was all corrupt back then. And I don't even, I don't know. This is an amazing story. But, they come out now. I thought Lindell was a great running back. I thought he would have a great career at Tennessee as a Titan. and he had a couple of good years, but he got hurt and things didn't turn away. But man, you're a college dude and there's a boatload of money on your bed stacked. I mean, Jesus, and that's USC for you, man.
Well,
I mean,
there's only one or two ways you can really look at it. Either it was a gift from a booster, one, or they're setting them up for something. And that's one or two things. But I'm glad to see these guys are getting paid. If you're going to pay it in a duffel bag, or you're going to pay it like it is now, and Ed O'Bannon shed some light on that. I like it, because these guys need to get paid if they're going to put you on the map. And ever since Johnny Manziel put Texas A&M on the map,
you're right.
And they're selling his jersey, and they're making money off of his name that he can't even make a dime off of. And if you take the guy to Sonic Burger or something, then the whole school goes on probation for 2 years. That's a joke in itself. Nobody says anything when the athletic director and the coach are making big money. But how about the player that's putting the ball in the end zone and racking up wins to get you guys a national title?
That's a good point. All right, so Mark, does Matt Canada get fired from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, they're all over these guys. I don't know. It was a rookie mistake in Miami. I mean, I thought I was watching, Pittsburgh South there. I think everybody from Pittsburgh emptied up in the stadium down there in Miami. But I like to see it play out. He's having a tough go. Circle the wagons. You can tell a lot about people through adversity. What Mike Tomlin needs to do is, basically circle the wagons. Part of it's his fault. He succumbed to this media hostility out there and basically started, Pickett. Should have let Trubinsky handle the reins till he got injured, and then you put Pickett in. But I think they'll do real good. There not many people giving him a chance. I might be the only guy in Pittsburgh that's giving him a chance to go into Philly and knock the Liberty Bell into damn Delaware.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so are you a big Mike Tyson fan, guys? You like Mike? You remember the? Okay.
I've met him and talked to him a couple times.
Okay, and he loves smoking weed, right? He's got his own farm and everything, right? Okay. All right, so he was recently at a sporting event. I don't know if you can see it on your screen. I'm going to pop it on. It's video. He is high as a kite. He can't even open his eyes. I don't know. Mike's. I like Mike. I do. Here, watch. He's at the U.S. Open in New York. The U.S. Open. Look at him. Come on, Mike. Oh, poor guy. Poor guy. Go ahead.
Get rid of the beard, or use what's that? That stuff you dollop the beard where it colors your beard, man, colors your hair. Man, you got to do something, man. The guy looks like Ben Franklin.
He's starting to look like the writer of that book, The Old Man in the Sea. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
You know what? Just give him glasses and let him run down Pennsylvania Avenue in Philadelphia.
He don't care, man. That guy, I gotta watch. I just look at it. He's making me smile. He makes me smile looking at it. He's such in a happy place. Look at him. Oh my God, he's so happy. He's so happy.
He's living his best life. Hey, I got a quick joke for you. What if that bag that Lendale White found, what if that was just a down payment from Lori Loughlin?
Ah.
Wow.
I don't know. It could be Martha Stewart's money, and Peter Davidson was supposed to pick it up, but he missed the boat on it.
Oh my goodness.
Did you
hear about that, didn't you? She said she wouldn't mind dating him. She's like 81, man. The dude's 20-something.
It's for love. It's for love.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, how about the Kim Kardashian dating the lead singer from Metallica? You see that one?
Yeah.
I thought the Kardashians.
I'm next.
I really thought they were limited to only dating NBA players.
Yeah, well,
that's what I thought.
It's a long line.
I know Obama's supposed to be buying the Phoenix Suns with a group. That's crazy, huh?
Come on, really? I didn't hear
that. Yeah, that news broke. Barack Obama's trying to buy the Phoenix Suns with a group.
All right. The Buccaneers are trying to tie the game. The Ravens are 14 unanswered points. They're up 17-10. And Bucks are threatening. Are they kicking a field? No, they're threatening. Yeah, they're real close to the end zone. So see. All right. So I'm in Vegas, right, last weekend. And I went to go get gas. And so I drove into Vegas. And this green yellow place, it looked like one of those places where it's got to be the cheapest gas in town. It just had that look, but it's green and yellow. So I get out and I go into the store and I look up and I got this huge figure. Look at this. Jose Canseco gas station.
Wow. Were they selling steroids?
It's like a convenience store, gas station, car wash. I went in there and it's all Jose everywhere stuff. It's all green and yellow, and he's a part owner from what I found out. But it just surprised the heck out of me, and and it was pretty cheap gas, I just gotta say. But is this an ego thing, or is this trying to sell like the business? Like, what's your take on that?
Well, did he make money on his book?
Yeah, but like
he's trying to make money on the
man.
That's amazing.
There's a lot of guys that own businesses but don't have their photo and posters and everywhere and their name all over the building, and it just makes me wonder, Jose.
It's funny because I did a podcast with his brother Ozzy. Ozzy's a trip, man. He's a great guy.
Ozzy
out there, he lives in Florida. Ozzy Canseco. Remember Ozzy?
Yes, I do. Oh yeah. I'm just watching Tom Brady take off out of the pocket.
Well, you know what? While you're watching that game, the Ravens, they could be easily 6-0. They've lost Miami, the Giants, and Buffalo all beat them in the last 10 seconds.
Oof.
Now they're sitting there at 3-3, man. And on the other qualm of things here, the Giants, man. Let me tell you something, guys. These Giants, man, people aren't giving them credit, but they're winning the close games. And if they beat Seattle, their next two games are Houston and Detroit at home. They could easily be 9-1 heading into Thanksgiving to play Dallas.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
They struggle with Dallas for some reason, but you're right. It's
but
amazing.
John and I like the Redskins. We don't give a crap about anybody in the NFC.
Hey, Washington could win 5 in a row coming up here. Do not be surprised.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Why is that? What's their schedule like? I'm going to look at it.
It's pretty favorable. By the way, I was going to ask you, when you go into Jose's gas station, can you get an autographed picture of the Bash Bros and an autographed DVD of his daughter, sponsored by Bang Bros? Can you do that? So you can get
I didn't look.
Bang Bros combo.
Well, I know you might get something signed by Madonna. Wasn't he dating Madonna?
Oh yeah, that's right. He was like he got sloppy seconds behind Sean Penn, didn't he?
Yeah.
It looked like a Jose museum in there. Like, you had your Snicker bars and things like that, but it looked like, I should have went further in the back. It was a big store.
That's where Tony La Russa was sucking down some Modelo's, man.
I should have looked. Maybe it had Jose Canseco slot machines. It's Vegas.
Right.
I didn't look. I didn't go further in. I just maybe it had a little porno section.
Hey man, she posed for Playboy just like mommy.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Don't be surprised. There's got to be an OnlyFans out there. I'm not a big subscriber myself, but
Dave Stewart was part of that, man. All that whole team back then. Stewart, Henderson.
Oh God.
Hey,
Lee.
Hey, go ahead, Mark. Mark, you love your Padres. I want you to look at this. How do the Padres?
Aaron Judge is going to be in San Diego next year.
I'm covering John's face, but apologize, John. But notable Padres free agents. That's a load of talent that could be gone for the Padres. And maybe you're right. You have Will Myers, Josh Bell, Mania, the pitcher, Profar had a big series. Nick Martinez is in there. You got Clevenger, the pitcher. You know, you have is it Surges there and Brandon Jury. Not like major big names, but pieces that really benefited them down the stretch.
Well, the two guys
For the Padres.
inside sources tell me are gone is Clevenger and Manea. Those two guys are gone. I think they're going to do whatever it takes to get, Martinez and Profar and maybe a Drury. I like to see him bring back a Bell, but the two guys that are definitely out of there is Manea and Clevenger. They got to shore up that pitching. Club control with Soto 2 more years. Machado, they'll have Tatis Jr. back. They're going to get Aaron Judge, and people think I'm crazy, but Aaron Judge is going to either go to the Giants or he's going to the Padres.
Maybe. I mean, you don't know how it all plays out. I know the Yankees will make a big pitch and make sure he doesn't get too far, but who's willing to spend?
Dodger fans going to win 120 games and get bounced out again in October, and then they're going to tell us they won 5 more or 9 more games next year.
But here's the take. Aaron Judge will fit better in San Diego with that stadium at home, because it's like right field is easy for Judge to hit.
Oh, yeah.
He goes to San Fran. He's not doing what he's doing anymore. That's a hard place to hit a home run. If he goes to LA, you got the same problem with the dimensions there, right? Judge will still hit him out, but San Diego, for his offensive numbers, fits him better, just like it does for him in Yankee Stadium or like in Baltimore. I don't think Baltimore makes a big pitch for it because they're in a different direction with their young talent. But you never know. I mean, Baltimore might say, "Hey, what? We can get Judge. We got a lot of these low contracts with these young players who are not big dollars," and then Baltimore can say, "Hey, we'll take in the division now. We got Aaron Judge. We're going to take the division, right?" Because Tampa's not doing it. They're barely spending $20 million a year.
No, I think San Diego is going to be the front runner in this. There's been a little talk, that they were going to get him. They got Josh Hader under contract too, so I think they got to just shore up, get some better pitch in there. Maybe Ross Stripling type of guy that eats up innings, somebody like that. But Manea's gone and Clevenger's gone. They haven't done nothing. Their ERAs were torched. They both blew those games. I like Drury. He had a kind of a hard time fitting there in San Diego, but they got to do something. They've got the bullpen. They just got to shore up that starting pitching, and they got the bats. And now with Tatis Jr. coming back, that's almost like picking up a free agent.
All right. You guys want to talk weeks 8? It's hard to predict because the NFL is unpredictable right now, and I think it's going to be like that for a while. Forget the World Series is tomorrow night, Philly at Houston, and I'm rooting for Philly.
Yeah,
I like their demeanor. I like their 87 wins and winning it all mentality. But NFL wise, let's go right to it. Okay, so we got this game tonight, 17-13. Baltimore's winning, 4th quarter, 12 minutes to go on a Thursday night. We got Denver at Jacksonville. Not too exciting. Both teams 2-5, but whoever wins is still kind of like hanging around because 3-5 is still pretty good where the NFL is going, but 2-6 will be hard. We got Carolina at Atlanta. Again, nothing exciting, but if Atlanta wins, they're 4-4. And if Carolina happens to win, this was a team that everybody was like throwing up on. Like it was hard, but they could be 3-5 and snooping around, and then you got the Bears off that win against Dallas.
Short week.
And short week, right? Keep an eye on that one. They got Miami and Detroit. And I don't know if Miami is for real because they beat a Steeler team that basically killed themselves that night, dropping interceptions and Detroit, fun team to watch, but and then Cardinals at Vikings. Okay.
This is
Vikings
an
are just
game.
You like that one?
Yeah, I like Minnesota to really do some damage. I'm sure I don't think the Cardinals have a chance. I think the Vikings are just clicking.
It's a huge game for the Vikings. They're going to be fine with the loss, but a win there, they can really separate themselves in the division. And then you have Raiders at Saints, right? Raiders are only 2-4. They had a bye week, so they can actually make some wave here with the big win in New Orleans. Then you have New England at the Jets. Okay. The Jets have always been they've always been losing to New England. This is that time where the Jets can finally say, we're moving past you guys. We're going to go 6-2. You're going to go 3-5. Bye-bye. Then you got Pittsburgh at Philly, and you're calling the upset for Pittsburgh to beat Philly. It may be on the writing on the wall for that one. Maybe you're right. Tennessee at Houston.
That's a yawner.
I don't know how Tennessee's 4-2. I just haven't felt it yet, but they're 4-2. And then you have Washington at Indianapolis. Basically the same records.
If you're forced to have a choice between rolling around with the wife or the girlfriend for another 5 times or watching Tennessee and Houston, roll around with the wife or the girlfriend.
Washington, the Colts. Yeah, they have San Fran at the Rams. That's a big one.
When was the last time the Rams beat the 49ers in the regular season? I mean, the Niners own them, man. They've even beat them 7 straight. McVay hasn't beat them. And, every time these guys play in the regular season, it seemed like the Rams are getting kicked to the curb.
Yep.
I mean, last year they beat them in a fluke play to knock them out. But I think they're in awe of San Francisco. I really do. And now with McCaffrey there, watch out.
Now you have Giants at Seattle. Giants could go 6-1 or 6-2. But Seattle, right there at the top of the division and somehow is like the best team in the division.
They were projected to win 5 games. They've already won 4. If they win, they'll win 5 games in 7 starts, 8 starts.
Yep.
Here, it's remarkable.
And then Packers at Buffalo. I know everybody's going to bet Buffalo, but Buffalo. I'll know for sure if Buffalo is really for real in a way of where their mindset is. Because if they just whoop the Packers, which I think people are expecting now because all the negativity. I'm going to get all your thoughts on all these games again. I just wanted to go through the schedule real quick. And then, Monday night game. That was a Sunday night. The Monday night is the Bengals at Cleveland. And both teams are playing pretty much the same kind of football. One team has found ways to win, and the other one keeps finding ways to lose. But they're competitive. Every game is competitive, it seems like. Nobody's really getting destroyed. All right, I threw a lot of games at you. That's the schedule. John, which one sticks out, or which couple of games stick out for you?
Sticks out. I like the Jaguars in London, to be honest. 9:30 in the morning for me. It's probably 6:30 in the morning for you over there. My God, you're gonna wake up for Jags and Broncos Sunday morning at 6:30. You're gonna go to the 5 a.m. mass, come back and catch the game with a Starbucks. Now, I like them to go out there and win. That's kind of like their second hometown now. Shad Khan owns.
He owns UK. Yeah.
He owns a team in London in the Premier League, and he just rebuilt the stadium out there, Craven's Cottage. And I think they're pretty well received at this point, and it's going to kind of sort of be like a home game. Russell Wilson plays, Brett Rippon plays, doesn't matter. I just think the Jaguars are going to start to look like they're turning the corner here. They've been scoring lots of points. And I think they're going to look like a pretty good football team. And still, I believe our record holds. Our record will hold. We will not get 2 teams with a winning record in London yet in the same game. But I think they'll win. So that one sticks out to me. And I also I like the Pennsylvania game. Steelers.
You do.
In the Eagles, and I'll let him talk about the game, but I like the game. I love it when those teams play each other. If I ran the world, it would be Philly, Pittsburgh, Washington, Baltimore in one division. That would be
that would be a brutal wow.
That would be my NFL Atlantic division or whatever.
That would be a
bruiser.
That's a death division.
Oh yeah.
How do you not have Philly and Pittsburgh in the same division? I mean, that's crazy.
Philly cheesesteaks or the whatever sandwich in Pittsburgh. They
put on the one that sticks out to me is the Green Bay Buffalo, because I think Aaron Rodgers said it after that game. He kind of threw everybody under the bus.
Yeah, he did.
Now you kind of wonder how many people are going to actually want to play and block for him.
Well,
so this is an interesting game here.
Wake up.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, I think in more ways than one is who's going to be out of town first, LaFleur or him. But it's a sad situation in Green Bay. It's a complete meltdown with them. You know, to stand there and tell people that this guy's not catching a ball without using names, they know who they are. You don't have to bring it to the forefront. You keep that behind closed doors. I think it's going to get interesting. There's a lot of dissension going on. I think cheese sales are going to be down. Beer sales are going to be up in Green Bay.
It's funny. Hey, Baltimore is now pulling away. You know, they've been physically wearing down Tampa. Tampa has got a nice defense, but they just busted it open with a run. They're probably going to be up 24-13 here in the midway through the fourth. So we'll see if Tom has a Tom comeback in him or not. But Baltimore is doing what they're doing.
The last time he was lost 3 games in a row, have they said that yet?
They probably have on TV. No doubt. That's a big stat. But this is definitely on the verge of happening in Tom's career. It's 3 in a row. You know, it was Pittsburgh, and then last week was who? I'm thinking of who they play last week.
Carolina.
Yeah,
Carolina. Think about that. Carolina and Pittsburgh, teams that you thought for sure they were going to beat. This is the NFL, man. It's like, and now Baltimore comes in and you know, I'm not surprised if Baltimore's doing well. I'm not surprised. I'm just wondering why Tampa Bay just can't really find themselves. Like, it just seems like they're stuck in the mud.
Well, I think what the biggest thing there is they're missing one guy that can really solidify it, and that's Gronkowski. He can pass block. He can.
And they also lost the other tight end, Brait. Yeah. I remember that. So the 2 of their tight ends are gone.
And I don't know. Maybe Evans is trying to have golf lessons as the games are going. So I don't know what's going on there, but you know, they just got to seem to circle the wagons here and put these losses behind them. Luckily, they're in a division where it's kind of wide open here, man. You know, you can win this division with 8 wins.
You agree? You know, I'm looking at Seattle, right? And they beat the Giants 5-3. They go. San Fran and LA are going to knock one of each other off this weekend. So somebody's going to go to. Well, yeah, somebody's going to fall behind. All right, and if it's San Fran, they go 3-5, and see what I'm saying is Seattle. You know, and their schedule kind of favors them a little bit because they got a little soft stuff coming, and they've been dealing with it. But they're winning. Man, if they pull this off, they're legitimately right there. And are they for real for the division? I don't like them going deep, but you know,
I will tell you what Sirianni's doing in Philly is amazing. But I think my coaches of the year right now is going to be the Bull in New York with the Giants. You can throw Soleil in there with the Jets, but Pete Carroll is doing something without anything there, and resurrecting Geno Smith and getting the running game going that they haven't seen since Kurt Warner. I mean, let me tell you something. These other teams that got talent, and Philly's loaded for bear, so you can't really give it to Sirianni, but you give it to Pete Carroll, man. This is a guy that's really earned the coaching things. If they win this division, like I said, this team was, you know, marked to win 5 games. You win this week, you're 5-3. You've already surpassed what the prognosticators had you penciled in as. So
yeah,
this guy is the coach of the year in my book.
And then if you know, I don't think the Cardinals can beat Minnesota, but I don't know what's the dynamic of the Hopkins factor after another game, and you know, and if the Cardinals are a different team. So I'm like waiting on these Cardinals of who are they with D-Hop in there and that offense that, you know, we saw the other night, but that was a lot of defensive touchdowns. And then, you know, that game was still close, even with those defensive touchdowns that they won last Thursday night, that is. But they have a long layoff. They should be well prepared to play Minnesota. But Minnesota has been the best team in the NFC. We knew they were going to be good this year. You know, when they got Jordan Hicks, free agent, the guy is a tackler, former Eagle, former Cardinal. The guy just tackles, and that solidified their defense because they got their quarterback on D, who's always around the ball, and this team is taking off. So to me, they're legitimate. But I want to see what they do with the Cardinals, and if the Cardinals find a miracle or, you know, an upset here to go in there, because they're 3-4, they have not looked good. We don't know where they're at, but if they can find a win, right? It's just crazy stuff in the NFC West, and like a lot of divisions, you could have Raiders, Seahawks, and Cardinals all at the top there with with 4 wins, right? With 4 wins.
Well, I think the Cardinals are like the Dolphins. You never know what you're getting from week to week. I mean, you can even borrow the line from Tom Hanks in Life is Like a Box of Chocolates. Just don't know what chocolate you're getting. I mean, they're almost mirror images of each other, the Cardinals and Dolphins. The quarterback gets called out each and every week, trying to find out if he's injured, he's this, he's that. Tua and Murray here. But then, the defenses go to sleep. They try to give the other team the win. And then if the team is inept, they don't pull out the win. I just look at the Dolphins and Cardinals as mirror images of each other. I don't know what you think, John.
I think they are. And I would actually kind of sort of almost throw Philadelphia in that mix. Philadelphia just happens to win every game so far. But I think the Cardinals are very capable of beating the Vikings this week. And if they do, here's a funny stat. If the Cardinals beat the Vikings and the Seahawks win, that would make Geno Smith have the best record of any quarterback this year over 30 years old.
Wow.
And guess what? The Seahawks play the Cardinals next week. So there may be a showdown for first place. Interesting stuff.
The Cardinals come out here.
What's up with Geno? Geno, this I think it's crazy. The guy was like a joke for like years, with the Jets and everything, and and they left. They said, Russell Wilson, you're gone. We're going with Geno Smith, and everybody, you said it, 5 wins max. It's crazy.
The problem there is, I think what ends up happening is you get in a system where somebody believes in you. Now, you're starting to see that in Miami with McDaniel and Tua. McDaniel lets Tua do whatever, he kind of builds on that strength. So I think what Carroll's doing with Geno is saying, I don't care what happened in all these other cities. You're here in Seattle. I got your back. You can fall down. Don't worry. You're going to start. And it's just a world of confidence. I just think it's that easy because, nobody had Geno Smith the last and the Seahawks winning all these games. But
no, you're right.
They have and if somebody says, they had it, they're full of crap because nobody had it. Maybe the 12th man in Seattle had it. But I think it's remarkable what they're doing. And with the Rams and 49ers and Cardinals all going back and forth, here comes the guy. It's like the tortoise and the hare. And here comes the tortoise while the hares are all fighting.
Hey, Tampa Bay's making a run, trying to get into the end zone. They're close, so we'll keep an eye on that. But go ahead, John.
I was just kind of looking at Geno Smith's career here, and he came in and took over after Mark Sanchez in New York, right? That's who he replaced, basically.
Pretty much.
Okay, well, who drafted him? That was still the Ryan brother that drafted him, right? That brought him there? Or was that Todd Bowles?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Well, Todd Bowles, we know that he didn't really have a choice of quarterback while he was there, so I think he kind of discarded him while he was there. He ends up at the Giants. We knew he wasn't going to find the field with a map there. He was just kind of there to be there. He goes to the Chargers and holds a clipboard behind Tyrod Taylor, who gets poked in the lung. He still doesn't get to play. In 2019, he played for nobody, completely out of the league altogether.
It's crazy.
Seattle brings him in during the COVID year. He sits on the sideline with a mask on all year long. He doesn't even see the field with binoculars. He's too short. He finally gets to play a little bit when Russell Wilson gets a bum hand, starts to really learn the system. It doesn't surprise me now that he's fired up. He's ready to win. He feels like he's been given a full season by some coach with a little bit of sense that has coached a few quarterbacks in his life. I mean, this is the same coach that put Carson Palmer out there and made, a lot of quarterbacks look good, early on in their college career. So, hey.
Well, I think you know what he did, guys? And if I can add it, when you really saw what he was capable of in Seattle, I think you had to go back to last year, the Sunday night game against Pittsburgh. when he almost pulled that game out in Pittsburgh.
Oh, I remember that game. Yeah.
That's
I
when
do.
you really got to see a glimpse of the future of what he could do in Seattle. And people, if they didn't catch that, well, they're definitely catching it this year, because that was his breakout, I think, against Pittsburgh. He almost pulled that game out.
Yeah, so Tampa Bay just scored a touchdown, but it was holding on the play, so now it gets called back. So just when you thought Tampa had it, now it's like 3rd and long, and they're at the 15-yard line, Tampa. And, we're watching. I'm watching with one play here. End zone. Oh, what a throw by Tom. Is that a first down? No, it's 4th and goal at the 3. So they got to get in the end zone.
Next Thursday,
do you kick the field goal here on 4th down and stay in the game with 5 minutes to go, or you got one play to get into the end zone? You're the coach.
I think the sheet says you go for 2.
Go for. You're gonna go for. But what do you mean go for 2? Oh, go for it.
Okay. I thought you meant, do you go for 2 if you score a touchdown?
No, they're going for it on 4th down.
Well, I don't know. That would be whatever Tom wants to do. Don't confuse yourself with Byron Leftwich calling that offense. Yeah. He's not.
They just had a penalty on the 4th down and goal at the 2-yard line. Offensive false start. Now you kick it, right? 4th and 7, 4th and goal at the 7-yard line. Yeah, they're gonna kick it. Man, Tom was pissed too.
I bet.
He's pissed.
All cameras on Tom for the next 3 minutes. Something's gonna break. Something's getting broken.
You gotta watch what he does. He turns around, his back to his lineman, and he spikes the ball like into the ground. He's pissed. He's on the sidelines. There's the camera on him. Puts his hat on. And you got to make this field goal attempt to kind of cut it to one possession with 5 minutes to go. Man, they were so close. But this is the story of the Bucs. They just can't get into the end zone.
Yeah, they do a lot. Their defense has just been. It's been torched. Even when they try to blitz, teams are just picking them up. And this was their strength. One of their strengths. Yeah. And the whole Julio Jones thing ain't working out. I don't know what's going on there with that. But maybe the coaching, you got to look at it. People thought, Bruce Arians was too hard on him, but maybe to the point where he got his point across that Bowles is just not getting it done. This team hasn't been the same ever since they won their first game in Dallas.
Yeah, it may be Todd Bowles. Maybe it is. But Tom Brady is his own coach. He's his own manager of the game and all that stuff. He should be able to, John and I were talking earlier about Ben Roethlisberger having a problem with the system when he was there. And we saw numerous times last year, like he said, screw it. Like first half, they couldn't score points. And all of a sudden, second half, it was like they're all over the place and scoring and moving the ball. And so Ben was like calling his own plays, doing checks, he's audibles. Like he was doing it. And I think Tom, if this is the case with Todd Bowles, Tom needs to just take over, and just lead, or maybe he can't. I don't know. I thought he did that. I thought he did that in New England.
It's that pocket time, that pocket pressure time. They are dead last in the NFL. I'm looking at it right now. They're scoring 17.7 points a game. They're giving up 17.7 points a game. So they're 5th in giving up points, but they're 5th to last in scoring points. So, at some point, you're either going to finish 500 or very close, up or down 1 or 2 games either way. But that pocket presence time, if you look at losing Alex Kappa and Tristan Wirfs missed a couple games, I believe, right? Wirfs, and then there's that other guy that they lost in preseason for the whole year. When they lost those 2 linemen, and one of them to free agency, I think.
Yep.
Tom Brady must have been like, oh, Jesus Christ. Let me take off 2 weeks and try to salvage my marriage at least or whatever. In the preseason, he's like, my God, we're going to have to actually go through with this. I said I was going to come back. Well, Giselle hates me now.
See, the problem there is I don't understand that whole thing. I think Giselle compounded this thing, too, to the point where she just said, okay, make it this year, last year, and that's it. He signs off on it. Everything would have been the same. But to have this go on, right in the middle of the football season. I got to blame Giselle on this.
You know, it's amazing that this could be the storyline of Tom Brady, of everything he's done, and then like
His
ended his
career.
career. Is it weird? Like she's attached to this story, like, and it's like
She's his
it's tabloid.
asterisk.
Yeah, it's tabloid stuff, and it's
You know, it's
forever
like
like that.
Tiger Woods. It's like Tiger Woods hitting the tree and, you know, losing his supermodel too.
There it
Remember
is.
that one?
Never been the same.
No, never. You know, Alex Rodriguez losing J-Lo.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not. I fell way out of this high class company a while back. They don't return my calls anymore. But I used to be rubbing shoulders with all these folks, right, at the country club. But so I don't get all the goods anymore like I used to. But no, seriously, Giselle Bundchen strikes me as some woman, as a supermodel, a French.
Right.
She's French, right?
I think so.
Okay, she's where the word diva was invented for. Okay, if there was ever a term, you know, invented for somebody, it was Giselle. So like Giselle is off going to art shows and these fancy auctions that take place in like Stade and weird places like Rome and stuff like that, you know, and we're gonna bid on fossilized, you know, pottery from found in Central Africa, dating back to, you know, when the aliens were here last time. But and she wants Tom to show up with her. And when he finally made the decision to come back, she's like, I had scheduled events for us, Tom. You were supposed to come with me on so-and-so's boat and make an appearance and sign this director's football for him at his wife's children's birthday party.
Yeah,
and what about, you know, we were going to go to, you know, Pierce Bronson's daughter's bar mitzvah or what, you know what I mean? Like, and now he can't go because he's got to play football. That probably pissed her off to high hell. And now she's got to go +1 with who? Rico, the driver or something?
Yeah, Rico, exactly.
All right, let me set it up for you here. Baltimore gets the ball back and a big play already like at the 30-yard line of Tampa. Actually, it's like the 17-yard line of Tampa. So Baltimore is threatening to score again with about 3 minutes to go in the game. So they're in good hands. Baltimore looks like they're going to pull one off.
Let me tell you something about Lamar Jackson. I like him, but you can bet on yourself in any sport. Don't bet on yourself in football when you can get injured real quick. He should have signed the big money. And now, you know, he better pray he has a big year there to get a boatload of money, kind of like Juan Soto type of money to turn down $440 million.
Yeah,
right.
Over under 500 million offer. His next offer. What will it be? Over or under 500 million?
Hey,
I think it's under.
You know, earlier I was showing you Mike Tyson, right? Video. Remember Mike Tyson video?
Yeah.
Where is it? There it is.
The one that looked like Ben Franklin.
Yeah, this is. The tennis, right? He's a boxer. He's scariest man on earth at one point, right? In the sport of boxing. All right, Mike. Have a good sleep, buddy. All righty. There's a new sport, guys. I want you to watch this. I've held this video for a while, and
pickleball.
I don't know. This is pickleball, man. No, this is vicious stuff. Watch this. This is like some like a boxing. I don't know how you want to call it. Just watch. Oh,
you know what? They did that in the Michael Jackson Beat It video 40 years ago. Okay, they're so late to the game, and they did it with knives in the middle of the dark.
It was
alley.
the Michael Jackson video. Oh my God!
Come on, that is so 40 years ago.
I thought I was going through Legoland, and these guys were, it looked like a couple of Legoland things getting it on. You know how you go to Legoland, you sit in that little boat, and the Legos are fighting each other?
All right. I wish I had
And
that
all of a
Michael
sudden,
Jackson
you think,
video.
actually, we're not going to get stabbed. They're Legos, man. Just pull his arm off.
Oh,
You know, hey, if one of those fighters was smart, he'd go over the top like Lincoln Hawk and hit him right in the face with it, man.
funny stuff.
I'm telling you, man. I call them Lego Larrys.
That's good stuff, man. All right, I know we're out of time, man. It's a long night, long
They're
day.
both lefties, man.
Yeah.
All right, it's 27-16. There's a couple of minutes to go in that Baltimore Bucks game. The music is up. It's top of the hour. Thursday night. Cornelius, Brad, Hannah, John Turner, the Madman, Mark Mancini. Guys, I love you guys. We'll see you next Thursday, man. And I don't know what to expect. You know, with World Series. Do we have a World Series?
The Eagles will be in Houston.
The Eagles will be 6-1. You said. That's what you said.
Well, they'll be in Houston too.
Oh, next Thursday night.
Yeah. What
who's
a
picking
yawner.
these? Who's picking these games? Ah.
I know.
Is this what they're doing at Amazon?
The next three are terrible.
Oh,
They're
all right,
bad.
all right. So by the time we get off the air and everything else, or when maybe Tom Brady makes a comeback. But
Why don't we hit
guys,
the over?
the over. What is the over again?
46
47. You said 46. So 36, 43, 43 right now.
Yeah.
43. You're right there.
45 and a half. 45 and a half. Perfect.
They're right
drama.
there. They're at 43, I think, right now. They're right there. So you know they don't kick field goals. They need a touchdown. They got the 2-minute warning. Wow. Does Vegas get this right every time, man? Holy crap. All right, man. All right, Mark. You
God
happy?
bless you, man. I'll see you next Thursday. John, I love you. Go Skins.
You too. All right, man.
Bye, boys. Love you. There it is. 1 out, 2 out. Boom. All right, guys. Hanna Time. Cornelius, Brad, Hannah on a Thursday night. Appreciate it, guys. Let's get back to it. We'll see you next Thursday night. Also on Sunday, we got the Cardinals and the post game with the Arizona Cardinals right after the game against the Vikings on Sunday itself. All right, guys. We'll see you. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your night.